I am in for a treat, aren't I?
And I gotta apologize for something I fucked up on in our very first podcast, bro.
Oh,
See, Goku didn't kill Super 17 with a Kamehameha. It was a Dragon
there's
Fist.
a dragon
To
fist.
the
I
anus.
fucked up.
It's okay, bro. I forgive you. I forgive you. No need to cry over spilt Goku.
Stuck in my past, about to relapse. I keep running back to you.
So,
True.
we are now back again with another installment of What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast.
Yay! Or no, wait. What grinds are... No! I'm angry.
I just now have the image of Goku Dragon Fisting Super Android 17.
That sounded so naughty. I have the picture of Goku Dragon fisting Super 17. Oh.
Well, aside from stuff about Dragon Ball GT right now, you know us. It's V, it's Sally, aka Sailor Scout Vampire, and
Yes.
Aaron, aka Deadpool, on his off days.
Yay! What am I on my good days?
I thought you
Oh.
were Wolverine.
I'm Wolverine on my good days, yeah. Disciplined. I rein myself in, and then Sundays happen, and I'm Deadpool.
Where today, since you guys already went through like 4 podcasts by this point, we're going over horror movies in space.
I just want to get this off my chest right now. Jason X, as dumb of a premise and stupid as the movie was still quite entertaining.
But Dracula in space. It was like Dracula 2000 or something.
Yes.
Hold on, guys. Okay. So,
Back to it.
back to the discussion. We have a lot of stuff involving horror talks before of the beginnings of horror movies, from how the slasher genre started to how to make a slasher genre work. Now we're going into the other branch of the horror movie stuff of space.
Echo, echo.
Echo, echo, echo. Where no one can hear you scream.
Yes.
Yet, for some reason in the movies, everybody hears them scream.
And it's somewhere out there as a thought that's probably hearing this and just like,
That motherfucker ain't gonna wake up. Leave me.
So, what was everyone's first horror movie in space? Space.
You go first, Sally.
It was Alien. My dad loved the Alien movies, and those
Now-
are the good ones. And I just remember my fear of seeing the alien pop out of the dude's stomach, he just.
I'm gonna clarify something. Alien and Aliens are 2 different movies.
Well, which one is it where they pop out of the stomach?
Alien.
Alien. Okay, I saw Alien.
Aliens is number 2.
Okay.
And then I believe it was Aliens 2 or 3. I can't remember after that. There's so many Alien
the
movies.
Alien series that I.
And then
Yes,
Prometheus
I agree.
is supposed to be the prequel.
Well, Prometheus wasn't even supposed to have anything to do with the Alien series, and then Ridley Scott he pulled a M. Night Shyamalan and went, boom, bitches! And that's where the Xenomorphs came from.
Yeah, from a planet called Prometheus. Yay, because we all wanted to know where our biggest nightmares, aside
And then
from
they made-
the Pillsbury Doe bullshit artist from Ghostbusters, came into play.
And then for the second time in movie history, I'm just going to throw that out there, they created a strong female character lead in Noomi Rapace, who was awesome, and I loved her. I loved Prometheus. Even if it was a fucking Aliens movie, I loved it. And in the sequel, I don't even know what to fucking say. Alien Resurrection is the sequel.
I think
Is
so.
that what it's called?
Where it had
And
a Julian what's his face from Empire being one of the characters.
and they just completely, it looked, so the trailer for it looked like Alien,
And then they
the
shat
original
bed.
trailer, and then there's a small freaking, like, I don't even know if I could call it a what the hell do they call it, where Numi Rapace is just a blurred out freaking hologram leaving a message to somebody, like she's not even in the film.
She's a cameo, a glorified cameo.
I haven't even fucking seen the movie, and I don't want to because of that. I mean, I loved her. She was great in the first one. How often do you have a successful series with a strong female
Lead character.
role,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
like Sigourney Weaver in the originals, and beat it to death? How often do you get to do that? First of all, you don't, with female lead roles, and they did, and it was successful. And then they have a second. Prometheus did well, and everybody wanted to see Numi Rapace come back. She was going to the alien home, not the alien home world, the Prometheans home world, to see what the hell these beings were, if they were still alive, blah blah blah, what happened, why they created the xenomorphs, basically to kill humans. That was why they were created, was to destroy us. They were a biological war thing to destroy the human race, which they thought was a mistake, the Prometheans. That's a great storyline. Now Numi Rapace is going back to the home world, and she's absent. Like, it has the sequel has actually nothing to do with the first. Anyways, enough of my little what grinds my gears rant on that. I would have to agree, Sally. Aliens is definitely, that is the one that comes to mind, and I know that may be a cop-out because there are so many.
Yeah.
I would also like to throw in, though, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yes.
Now before we go into this, guys, we know it's technically not a horror-based film. It's just supposed to be a space exploration film, but it has elements of that of a thriller, suspense, horror movie due to the fact it does have consequences as well as a major threat that has given birth to many creatures in various cinema stuff, and in gaming lore such as Shodan from System Shock 2 and GLaDOS and Weekly from the Portal series.
As a matter of fact, I would like to, and I could be wrong, but I would like to think that movie, Stanley Kubrick's idea, may have spawned, and believe it or not, that is the first ever film to spawn a novel. So the film was made before the book was written. And they wrote the book after. And back to my original point, I think that is the first movie to bring about the whole. There was a novel before, but this is the first movie to bring about the whole. What would happen if AI gained consciousness, or had the ability to think for itself, and the consequences of those actions, and blah blah blah. I'm probably wrong, but I'm put it out there. So. Whatever, which then in turn spawns, as V was saying, everything from GLaDOS in Portal to Terminator to any, to AI, or what is that? I am Robot.
I Robot.
Yeah. I Robot. To the current, which is actually further stepping. There's Westworld, and then there's a further stepping one. It's called, what's that show we were watching on Netflix, Jenny? No.
Carbon?
Yes, Altered Carbon, where they're transferring consciousness from one body to another that they call sleeves, which is a concept that is actually real, or real close to being a possibility. Which then arises another thing. Is it really truly artificial intelligence we're creating, or are we actually just creating a way to transfer our intelligence? Which there was a Johnny Depp movie based on that too, which could be considered a horror film as well. So, let's talk about the dumbest space science fiction. Wait, no, V, we didn't touch on you. What's your first foray into space horror?
Well, it was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Was it? See, I was gonna say that, but I didn't count it specifically as horror.
Yeah, I know. I was basically setting the whole precedence, but at the same time, it does carry the same elements to it. Because then there's also stuff of
Ah, they made it! Great. Now I can take my cigarette break. Thanks. They're here. All right, I'll be back. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing. I may have to pee.
go pee. We'll be here.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man up. At the bottom.
I have a can.
Ow.
Well, to catch
Why are you putting it in the hole?
So you don't pee on everything else.
There's
Waterfall?
there no there's splash. There is splash.
Yeah.
well to catch
Years of
Shweebes and Phoenix up, we're doing space horror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, enough of the R. Kelly pissin' talk. Let's get back to the space horror.
Trapped in a closet.
Future me, do
Girl, I
not
wanna piss
put
on.
piss on you. Don't do it. Even though it's a tempting joke, don't do it.
I did it.
Happened.
It's happened. All right. Space horror. What's your first? So V's,
Yes.
Sally's was Alien. Mine was Alien as well. And then I threw in 2001 because I believe it has the elements of a horror film.
I've already disclosed everything to the viewers and fans and whatnot, so we're good on that
Yes.
front.
Just catching up.
Space
So we are on.
We're underwater, right?
Hmm?
They found the giant sphere.
Wait, what?
What?
Space Odyssey. That was the one where it's the underwater with the giant sphere, right?
No, that
No,
was
no,
just...
No.
2001: A Space Odyssey, not 2000 Leagues
That
Under the
is-
Sea.
No, that's not 2000. That is it starts with an A. The Abyss.
Atlantis?
No, the Abyss. The
Yeah,
Abyss.
Alien object found at the depths of
It
the
was
ocean.
called the Sphere. Or
No,
Sphere.
that's the Abyss.
Is it called the Abyss?
Yes.
Oh. Then that
And-
one.
which
That was
is
my-
another great. It's not space, but it might as well be
Alien, yes.
space.
Alien.
I'm gonna say it was an alien object, not necessarily alien as in from outer space, but alien as in from another world.
Which can still technically be counted in space.
Right. And is also a great movie. And is that another Ridley Scott movie?
I don't know. Ridley
can't
Scott,
remember.
although very much a science fiction horror thing. I just remembered what was the number one thing that actually did get me involved. That was Life Force, space vampire horror film.
I've never
I
seen
just
that one.
remembered that. I remember because I caught the last couple of minutes where it was just this vampire woman having everyone in Europe trying to just destroy everything is like a whole thing of I'm super powerful and also I'm naked throughout the whole film. And it ends with just her and this guy that she's apparently been banging the whole film, just now trying to make the ultimate life form of space vampire human hybrid as like I think destruction happens.
So like a rated R version of Underworld.
Yeah.
Or rated X version.
X, yeah.
Rated X.
So anyways, we're on to you now, Shweebes and Phoenix. What is the first space or science fiction horror film?
Actually,
Okay,
the
look-
movie we were talking about was Sphere.
It is called Sphere. It's something completely different from The Abyss. I have seen The Abyss.
It was a
But-
good movie.
Here is a different movie. That would be the first sci-fi movie thing that I ever watched with my dad. This is well before you and I started watching horror movies together. And I was like 12. And Dad was like, you should be able to handle this. Yeah. Ew.
So what is Sphere? Explain
Here,
it. Describe
give
it.
me a sec. I will get you a Wikipedia on it because it's a '98 film. Let's see.
The
American
80s.
science fiction, bloody blah. No one cares about that. Let's see. An alien spacecraft is discovered on the floor of the Pacific Ocean. Estimated to have been there for nearly 300 years. A team of experts, including marine biologist. I don't have my glasses. Leave me alone. Dr. Beth Helfner, or Stone. Mathematician Dr. Harry Adams, Jackson, some big word there, Dr. Ted Schrelber, whatever. Pawn spacecraft. blah blah.
The parentheses are their actors' last
I
name.
know that. This is in this one they find it and this thing starts fucking with their reality. It gives them powers in a weird sense. Like there's this one guy who has this insatiable, like it's a weird fear of jellyfish. And anytime he fell asleep, like they'd start hearing things and just swarms of jellyfish would swarm their base that they had at the bottom of the ocean.
So
You know
it's
what I'm
like
talking
that,
about?
it's like that episode of on Mars, the Martian water episode of Doctor Who.
Might be. I don't know. Oh, Doctor
Oh, well,
Who. I
if
never
we're
watched
going-
Doctor
Sorry,
No, if we're going first, Alien Encounter
Whovian.
would have to be my first one.
I am a Whovian.
Oh, there was a
wrong
giant
with
squid
that?
too. Oh, but it was really gross because
High
one of their
fives.
had to go out and were checking something, and then the swarm of jellyfish got so thick, started attacking her. Yeah, she didn't make it. I didn't want to go in the ocean after that for like 2 years.
See, I had the same effect with Jaws. Jaws did that to me. But this is space horror, so alien horror. So Sphere is your number one. That's the first one you saw. What about Phoenix? Is that the first one Phoenix saw too?
What was your first
That was
one?
I've
Actually-
seen this one. I have seen this one.
It's a good one. I want to get it.
It's a psychological thriller, so I don't know if that is horror per se.
With the crap that happened in there.
Hey,
yes,
we
that's
threw
definitely
we already have 2001: A Space Odyssey in here.
Mhm.
We
That's
can
with Hal.
technically get away with it a
Yeah.
little bit.
We're gonna let it go because it has the elements of fear and horror in it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And that, in essence, can make a
Scary
horror
thing.
story.
Alien.
So, is that also your first
It
space or
was, in fact, my first. I
It
watched
was?
it long.
Wait. Oh, space horror.
Space horror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We saw Aliens not too long after that, or Alien.
Alien.
I believe
Not too long
I ha-
after that.
How's the alien?
I have to say I think it was Aliens 3 that really like emotionally scarred me. And it wasn't because of like the fear factor. There's a scene and it's towards the beginning of the film. And I believe that's the one where they resurrect Ridley and bring her back the first time, or maybe she was sleeping. I can't remember. She's on a colonial space station or some shit. And there's a dog, and the alien infects the dog,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
shows the whole gestation period. And then at the end of the gestation period, it's not just an alien popping out of the dog like in the first film. It's the entire dog's rib cage popping out.
Yeah.
See,
And
what's
then,
fun, that's not the original.
That's
Huh?
not-
No, the original Aliens 3 had nothing to do with the dog. The dog was eaten, but was not turned. The fact is, the alien actually infected one of the oversized cows and came from its chest, and that's why its form is so weird. However, people didn't feel that was... It took an extra 15 minutes of the film to explain that and to show that happen, so they cut it down and changed it to the dog instead.
Because people.
Well,
didn't
which
have any
had
good
a really-
attention spans.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had-
Fuck that.
I had a dog at the time, and it just like it cut me deeply emotionally because I'm like, no, my dog could get infected, and her entire rib cage is gonna burst out. And that's another note about the Aliens films, is that the xenomorphs take a form of their host. They not a form. Each form is different for a xenomorph depending on their host, and it's like
Have you seen the new Covenant and the other movies that are...
no, we talked about that earlier. We didn't because Noomi Rapace totally got whited out in there. She's not even in the fucking film except for a little cameo as a hologram or something.
It's worth it. It honestly is worth it for storyline alone because it explains why the xenomorph does what it does and how it can change depending on its original host. Apparently, in small portions of
I don't know. I was more interested in Noomi Rapace going to the Promethean homeworld and figuring out why they created this biological weapon just to kill humans in the first place. But we ended up with Covenant.
It's not the same. It's not what
trust
he
me, I'm not
wanted.
happy with Covenant either because it was honestly just a blatant attempt to satisfy the fans who are like, where the fuck is the original Alien?
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking, why are we even doing this?
I thought Ridley Scott came out of retirement to tell a true alien story, and then he just sold out. Fucker. Anyways,
But it was
let's move on. Let's
So, the dichotomy involving space horror is trying to sell everyone that to many people that will never be astronauts for whatever reason, or will never go out into outer space until, for some odd reason, I'm not going to say it's going to happen in the near future, but eventually it'll happen, of space colonies when we're all of a sudden fucking up the planet Earth, which we're already very well on the way to doing.
I will keep my ass here and just grow plants behind you, assholes.
I just want to inform you, Elon Musk has announced that there will be short trips to Mars by 2019, according to his SpaceX team.
That's nice. So, to sell off the whole thing of the space horror thing from the very first space films, such as The Day the Earth Stood Still, or The Planet of the Worlds broadcast that made everyone shit their pants with fear. It was supposed to give off the... Yes, thank you, Phoenix. It was supposed to give off the ambiance of every single person to just end up going through all the things of the unknown from the vastness of space, because we're all supposed to be like, aren't we the only superior life forms on this universe, this plane of existence? If that's the case, what is really out there? What is trying to kill us? What's trying to usurp us? We must end up having our imaginations grow into very dark places.
That's why I usually fall back to Doctor Who. He cheers me up.
Yeah.
Hobbs, that's a question for you. Is it uncomfortable?
What?
Being my puppet, my hand up your ass. Is it uncomfortable?
No.
I'm speaking through you, right?
I'm good.
Okay.
It's not.
It's just like that episode of Futurama where he makes the meat puppet out of
God.
I forget. Hermes.
Yeah.
Hermes Conrad.
Yeah, it's not a movie, but like I've recently, it's like video game. I started playing
Dead Space.
and I was playing it. The creatures in there when they're like, you know, I won't spoil it, but it reminded me of the Reavers in Firefly. I know Firefly's not a space horror; it's an adventure, but they have horror element in there.
Honestly, taking into like the psychological aspect of being caught by these things and being
it can be.
That's fucked up. That's psychological thriller, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That counts.
That's what it reminded me of. That's why I was
and if you take into account, okay, we're not discounting Firefly, but if you take the movie Serenity.
Yes, Serenity. Yes, that's terrifying.
Where the Reavers actually come in.
Yes.
You could kind of count that.
The movie. That like see them.
But it's a lot of which horror game that like really good game series. Monolith, see, which is one of the very beginning, and that Monolith on go to discover, and now
To be fair, the Doom game,
yes,
everywhere, and they
with here and nope.
Hey,
To the
I mean, as far as
the 8 men worshipped it. All of our edge men, they discovered the populations, and then from there, it's if you read the book or watch the movie, it's really fucking boring to watch the movie. It is horribly boring. I fell asleep I don't know how many times. But if you can actually pay attention the entire time, they're basically saying that monolith is responsible for us evolving to what we are now and going out and finding more.
Mhm.
And then HAL 9000 takes over, and there's your AI Terminator. Version 1. So, favorite space horror films? Anybody? Can we make a list of top 10?
Sorry,
Well, my question is this.
Anna, I got thrown off because everything started jumping around on my end.
Okay. Having a migraine. Just kidding.
Gotta love technology. I don't know if I've seen enough space horror myself.
I
think
have
the three that I've scene would be Spear.
Well, would you count Hellraiser?
Space?
Hellraiser
Yes,
can
okay, I saw
count
that.
since Pinhead is very space-like in theme. Sorry, it's still bugging me.
The Hellraiser Bloodlines was actually out in space. So,
Was it?
yes.
Okay. What was the other one? Jason was in space.
Jason
which I
X.
thought was
Jason X.
weird.
Leprechaun was also in space. for some
Leprechaun in
stupid reason.
space.
I still don't understand why a leprechaun was in space.
I'm waiting for Michael Myers to get into space. This is his,
Well, Dracula was in space.
Dracula
so-
Yeah.
3000.
that was
Yeah.
a good movie, though. I mean,
See, Jason X was highly entertaining, as stupid as
that
it.
one. That was good.
And Dracula 3000 had also a great soundtrack as well.
oh, yeah.
Yes, the soundtrack was great. I couldn't. I guess because I'm like that traditional. I wouldn't say like traditional vampire lover, as like you have to be like, oh, I'm gonna suck your blood. But like, be on planet Earth, please. Like, I'm
And you
kind of like there.
Dracula 2000, which was based on Earth, and it was pretty good. They had Liu Kang playing as a vampire hunter, and he was
Yes.
Well, spoiler warning, by the way. Just you know.
Oh, I've seen all.
As far as, but I do have a question.
Okay.
As far as Alien is concerned, can it be based on Earth as long as the main portion of whatever the storyline, the plot is, it's from space?
Yeah.
So like Aliens
I think
versus
so.
Predator,
Yeah.
Or like War of the Worlds kind of stuff. Yeah.
And-
it can take place on Earth.
Yeah. It just
but
has to have all alien.
It has to originate from space.
I could not watch Critters. That was
Ooh.
disgusting.
Ooh, Critters.
The reason
We could-
why
we could even
I
go
was turned
Gremlins.
away from Critters was when the one, what was his face? I don't know. One of the drug heads or whatever was going through finding stuff, and the one jumped in his mouth, and I was like, nope, I'm
Oh,
out.
that was-
Oh, but I pulled up a list of all of the what they consider space horror movies.
Oh, there we go. That would be good to have.
Clowns from space.
Oh my gosh.
I have to take that back. That was the first alien horror movie I've ever seen, but it was such a comedy to me. I don't include it.
Mars Attacks is technically a satire on space movies from the 50s. Could it be considered horror for like young kids?
Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Pitch Black is considered. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I could
it's a
see
creature
that.
feature.
Yeah,
I can
creature
see
feature.
that.
Yeah.
It's on an alien planet with aliens. Yeah, creature feature, alien. I call that
There was
space.
a Doom movie.
Yes.
I need to watch.
It wasn't
this.
scary.
There might be like one Godzilla movie I know that's kind of scary with a
On
space
VHS
villain.
or DVD?
DVD.
I need to watch it.
You were saying about a Godzilla movie on VHS or DVD?
No, I was saying there might be one Godzilla movie that's kind of tied together with horror from space, but it's not really that scary unless it's from the Seihei series when Godzilla was a villain again.
What are you talking about? The one where Dagon came into existence?
No, it was like he comes back as a ghost for not trying to get penance back from World War II. So the Guardians are Mothra, Godzilla's ex-girlfriend, obviously, and
Yeah.
Ghidorah. And there's supposed to be like a space creature involved that's supposed to try and stop him, but I forget what movie that is. But it does have like their various horror elements for those that don't really understand the gravity of kaiju films. So that might count as one for like a creature feature type thing. I'm not sure.
They're including E.T.
What the fuck?
as a horror film.
Who the
They
fuck
only
was scared of
Spielberg
E.T.?
film.